Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Jack and Glenn channel. I'm Glenn. Before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of our reviews tonight. I'm talking about Ready to Love, Pajama Jam. Real quick, he dropped this review for you. Once again, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification. Let's jump into this review of Ready to Love, Pajama Jam. As you see here, we see we're introduced to the men. The men are in charge this week. The men are in charge of the lounge, and the men are taking over the lounge, right? As the new men come into the lounge, everybody comes into the lounge. They are sizing up Justin. They sizing up Justin, see what kind of dude is him, right? Everybody hadn't met Justin, and the other men wanted to size him up. You know how we do. We want to make sure what he looked like, right? How he feel, what he stands at. What kind of competition do I have? So the men start sizing Justin up. Tommy goes into this. He tells the men, "Yo, this week is about intimacy and chemistry, right? You're gonna be about the intimacy and about chemistry. We want you to see the women. Um, we want to see the women in this process. We want to see them how they handle family, but how they handle business, and we want to see them in a unique situation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a pajama jam, right? I'm going to have a pajama jammy jam for all you guys to go out there and be part of this pajama jam, pajama party. I'm throwing this pajama party, and I want to invite an old school pajama party. Come on and come out. That's what Tommy tells them. And at the end of the week or at the end of the show, somebody's gonna be eliminated. One of the women got to go. So we see this there. So Tommy is gives the men the instructions for the week. First date we see Dominique and Alexis. They go to what they call a stretch lab. Now I know I wouldn't mind going to a stretch lab myself. Got to get stretched a little bit, right? Got to get stretched. Yeah, the stretch lab was on point. Don't have one of those where I live at, but it seemed like it was pretty interesting to get stretched. But Dominique and Alexis had some great conversation there. You can see where they kind of got a little bit deep. Dominique was telling her, look, I want to be married. I want to have a marriage. Then saw Alexis talking about how she's seen her parents married, her grandparents, and talk about the longevity of their family. Dominique said family should have, he said when he was growing up, he didn't tell people in his family that he loved them too much, right? He didn't express love. They didn't tell him that, but they showed love. So, in other words, his love is not affirmation, but it's a kind of act of service. You got to do things for him to show him that you love him. And so we saw Dominique he's talking to Alexis, and that was a great conversation. And I thought those two, you can see the chemistry between those two. And Dominique is kind of exploring himself. We know Dominique had a connection with Mika in the previous times. They don't show too much of Dominique, but I'm glad they gave us much more Dominique in this past episode of Ready to Love and the relationship he had with Alexis and some of the other women. Then we see LeBron who goes out with Vanessa, right? Um, they say they don't talk much. They text between each other. So this to me seemed like one of those days production just do together. Let's see if we can throw something out there and see if it sticks, right? These two don't they text each other back and forth. Vanessa's weighing her options. We all know Vanessa's hooked on Chaz. That's who Vanessa wants. She doesn't want anybody else. So I even when they first showed this date, I was like, she going out with LaRon? Like, what's the joke, right? We know LaRon is out there. He loves him some Koshia. So, hey, I'm sitting there like, if it works, it works. If it's for you, if it's for you, right? They go on paddleboarding, and this is interesting, man. LaRon can't give his balance, right? Paddleboarding is a balance type event, a balance type sport. He's a heavy dude, heavier guy. Balance may be off just a little bit. And so the paddleboarding date didn't work out for them. He fell into the water, got there, felt like swimming. It was a struggle for him, right? It was a big struggle. But as they begin to sit there and converse and talk after they finished the paddleboarding event, Vanessa brings up like, "Yo, you're a party boy. For what we hear that you party Wednesday through Sunday, and this is what you do. That's not what I'm looking for. But the word on the street is that you're a party boy." And LeBron felt offended. Like he said, "Look, I work at home all day long. I don't go so I work at home. Everything I do is at home, and so at evening time, I like to get out of the house. I go to lounges and hang out with my boys and hang out with different people and I chill. That's what I do, right? I hang out at lounges. Not like I'm in a full club party every night. That's not what the intro was said, or that's how it was presented at the beginning. It was presented that he's a party boy. He goes out and party all night long, like Eddie Murphy. I want to party all the time, party all the time, party all the time. All right. LeRon said that's not him. He said that he's gonna have to work hard to get this stigma off of him, right? He has gonna have to work hard because people are just grouping him into a party boy mentality, and that's not who he is or not what he wants people to do. He wants to be able to um, do different things. He wants to be able to have a different light around himself, and he wants to be able to show people that he is different. Only time will tell, right? Only time will tell if we will see different. Then we get into the pajama party, right? The pajama party, because she had a little vignette talking about, she said she's ready for the smoke. Like whatever goes down, she ain't mad at nobody, but if she's ready for the smoke, she's ready for the drama. That's the problem, right? That's the problem. When you come into a place or to a new venue or you're getting ready to have some fun and you're coming in with the mindset that I'm ready for smoke, whatever takes place, whatever happens, is gonna happen. She came in ready looking for I ain't say looking for war, but she came in with her antennas and her mouth ready to go. She was ready for this instance, but we didn't get to see that no fireworks between Koshia and any of the ladies in this episode, but she didn't have no need for no smoke, right? Then we see Jonathan, right? Jonathan and Alexis, they're talking to each other, and Jonathan basically just says, "Look," tells Alexis, "I am comfortable. I am comfortable around you. I want to be with you. I see you. I'm comfortable with you. I want to have a conversation with you. I want to get deeper with you. I want to be here." And Alexis has some hesitation with Jonathan, right? She says she wants to see the other side of Jonathan. Is he as laid back as he appears? Does he have that much demeanor? Is he that soft spoken? Is he that closed off a little bit or real quiet? She wants to see the other side of Jonathan. And we see that a little bit later, right? She does see the other side of Jonathan a little bit later when we get into the whole truth and dare or truth and sexy game. We see the other side of Jonathan that he wants to present to everybody, right? He wants to display on for everybody. But nonetheless, we move on. Then we see Dominique and Mika having a discussion. Dominique, from the very first episode, Dominique was feeling Mika, Mika was feeling Dominique, and they got into a deep discussion here. Talking about Dominic said he didn't really have a chance. When he dates somebody, he want to date somebody when he's mentally ready. And he's mentally ready. He wants to go on a deep date. He wants to get deeper involved with them. He just don't want to be dating without a purpose, but he wants to date with a purpose, and he want to date where his mind is mentally stable, right? Mika tells Dominique that she's had kids since she was 18 years old, which this explains a lot, right? This explains a lot why Mika doesn't want any more kids. She's been dealing with kids since she was a kid, right? Since she was a child. Her oldest, she said, is 18. So puts her about 36 years old. So since all Mika's adult life, she's been raising kids. All Mika's adult life, she's been dealing with having kids. She has a 6-year-old now, right? So she has an 18-year-old and a 16-year-old. And Mika's like, I don't want to deal with any more kids because all I know is kids. So Dominique wants kids. He wants to have a family. He wants to create a family. So this is the turn off for him. This lets him know, like, you know what? Mika may not be the one for me. It may not be. It's not going to work out. He still wants to explore a little bit more with Mika, but Mika is hell bent and she is set on not wanting any more kids, and I understand why. Again, when you're a kid raising kids and all your whole adult life is kids, I get it. You want to be able to have your own free time. You want to be able to do all the things that you want to do, and she has not been able to do that in life because she has to deal with kids. She has to deal with kids on a regular basis. So then we see Koshia talking to Justin, right? I felt some kind of way here, right? Because I felt like if this was a guy talking to a woman, there will be an issue, right? It will be a bigger issue. Koshia tells Justin he needs some weight, right? He needs to bring his weight up. Man up, get your weight up. And she said, look, I need you to get your weight up. Justin mentioned, okay, I lost 10 or 15 pounds. I've gotten my weight down to what I'm comfortable with. I mean, I'm a $178. I'm good. Nah, Koshia said, nah, I need you to bring that up like about to 210. Bring your weight up to 210. Now, again, I know this is a TV show, and I understand this, but I'm saying, hey, man, if a man would have told a woman, you know what, you're too skinny for me. I need you to put some more meat on your bones. You're too skinny for me. And she's like, well, I've been losing some weight. Now, if you want to be, I need you to buck up a little bit. I need you to go back to 210. Right? I need you to fulfill those, to get those thighs to be a little bit bigger. I need you to size up a little bit. I think that would have been an issue. How come it's not an issue when a woman tells a man, look, I need you to put some more weight on. I need you to bulk up a little bit. I need you to muscle up. I'm just putting it out there. Y'all guys, let me know. What do you think? Is there an issue when a woman has to adjust a man's weight or tell a man he needs to put some more weight on? I I didn't. She wasn't playing. She was serious, right? And she was like, "Hey, this is what I want you to do." She even tried to make it like me and the women been talking like you a little thin. Put some weight on, right? Um, then we see Koshia talking to everybody, and this is where LaRon felt some type of way. How are you jealous on a dating show when women are supposed to talk to men? They're supposed to interact, they're supposed to engage. You just went on a date with Vanessa. Like, bro, what's the problem? Now, this is me. I think some of the liquid courage that he was drinking and he was sipping on. It ain't been too many seasons, many episodes, many seasons. We ain't seen LeBron with a drink in his hand, right? So I'm thinking this is some of the things that LeBron likes to do. He might like to sip a little bit, and now he's feeling some type of way. So as he's feeling some type of way, it's because she is talking to everybody. She talked to Jonathan, she talked to Dominic. As he says it, as LeBron says it, she's smiling up in everybody else's face. Why can't she smile up in everybody else's face? It's a pool party. It's a pajama jam. She knows some of these people. She's supposed to interact with these people. And you smiling up in everybody else's face. Now he's feeling jealous. He's feeling like, hey, she done backed off of me. She left me alone. Like, I don't know what the problem is. This is what we've seen with women. LaRon has put all his eggs into Koshia. And now it's like it's buckling a little bit. He put all his eggs in Koshia, and she ain't reciprocating what he's giving, right? He's trying to give all that he says he's giving. I'm trying to talk to her. I'm trying to be with her. And it ain't reciprocating back. And now he feels some type of way. He feel like, hey, there's something ain't right here. She's supposed to mingle, right? He was mingling. Anyway, we see Tommy come out. Tommy tells the lady that one of them will be going home, all right, doing a pajama jam, and one of them will be going home. Mika and William, right, the comedian, they make a pact. They understand that there's no relationship between those two. They realize that everything is good. They're cool. Mika and William realize they're cool. But here we go. We see my man Will. Y'all remember Will. Will supposedly slept on the floor. Will supposedly had no place to live. Will supposedly doesn't have any money. And Will said, look, when I see these women, it means war. And I'm sitting here like, man, Will about to go off, right? He's talking to every woman. He's looking for every woman. He's searching for every woman. He's telling every woman, hey, I want to find out who said that was sleeping on the floor. And I'm sitting here like, why do you have to find out who said it? How many people did you tell that you want to sleep on the floor? Right? You should have already went back to Patrice like, hey, why are you saying X, Y, Z? Right? He finally figured out it was her who said that he was sleeping on the floor. And there was no fireworks. There was no war. And there was no explosion. There was not, Will wasn't going off. He wasn't ramping and raving. He wasn't. So to me, war was a whimper. If you tell people that it's going to be war, and when you get to the place where you could cause war, and it doesn't happen, bruh, it's a whimper. Because she stood 10 toes down. That's what you said. And I assumed you meant that you were going to sleep. Well, why would I sleep on the floor? I'm a multi-millionaire. Bruh, I know some multi-millionaires that certain nights they might have laid on the floor. It's okay. We all had a pallet on the floor. It's fine. Doesn't mean you ain't got the money. Just that night while you work in your house, you laid a pallet on the floor. You didn't feel like going to a hotel room. You didn't feel like sleeping in your car. You didn't feel like doing none of that. You felt like doing whatever you need to do. But nonetheless, it was no war. It was just a whimper. Sorry, Will. You're shooting blanks, brother. If you was gonna go to war, you should have went to war. You should have called some cane. You and Patrice should have you and Patrice should have just went back and forth. And she shut it down. It's like, I'm not going back and forth. I know what I heard. I know what you said, and this is what it is. And they left it like that. Man. And they left it like that. Then we see Maya and William taking pictures. It seemed like William seemed like he's having a good time with a lot of women. He's making some connections. Now, whether they stay with him or not, that's a different story. But he's making some connections. He's having great conversation with a lot of these young ladies. And I think it's going to pan out with him and one or two of them a little bit down the line. Mika and Justin have a decent conversation. Then we see Mika and Justin having a conversation. Mika tells Justin that she doesn't want any more kids, and Justin tells her what he's been telling every other woman is this: look, I've come to myself that I may not have kids, but if somebody wants to have them, I'd be more obliged to help them out, right? I'm coming to my mind that, hey, it may not happen for me, but it's fine. I work with kids all day. I deal with kids. Justin said he wouldn't mind being somebody's stepdaddy. All right. He said he used to date women, nothing but women with kids. So he's used to this, right? He knows the story. He knows the lingo. He knows the conversation. He know how to interact with women with kids. He know how to deal with in that circle where maybe she wants kids, maybe she don't want kids. Maybe she wants a baby stepdaddy, or maybe she don't want a stepdaddy. Justin, now we're starting to see a little bit more of Justin, who's able to play the game a little bit more because he's been in those circles. He know how to deal with somebody who doesn't want to have kids. He know how to deal with somebody who do want to have kids, more kids with him. So right now he's like, okay, him and Mika are feeling each other, and Mika's feeling him because again, he doesn't want to have kids. Now this is right here is going to put me, and we'll see it. It's going to put Mika in the bottom because most of these dudes on here want to have kids, right? And she is adamant about not having any more kids. She's adamant about, hey, I'm not doing this again. I don't want to do this again. This is where I'm at, and we're just going to keep this bad boy running and rolling. So Mika and Justin, like I said, once I had a great conversation. Then we see LaRon. And this is where the wheels fall off, right? LaRon talks to Koshia, and he says that he feels like she's been secretive and not talking to him. And Koshia didn't shy away from this at all. She's like, you're right. I've been that way. I haven't texted you much. I haven't called you much. Because, again, we're in the process. I want you to enjoy the process. In other words, I want you to play the game. I want you to be involved in this. If this is what you want, go ahead and play the game. We are on this show. I don't want to get too invested. If I just eliminate now, right? And we just go be together if that's where we at. But if you're going to be involved in the process, be involved in the process and go date other women. Again, you went out on a date with Vanessa. I don't know because she knows that. He did. He went on a date with Vanessa. It is a process. It is a game. It is something that takes place. It's something they do on a regular basis. And she's like, I understand this. I'm not going to be mad about it. I'm not going to be upset about it. If it's for us, we're going to be us. We're going out, go out with other people. He was mad because she's never done that before. And as I mentioned, guys, I think a lot of this was the alcohol that was talking and LaRon, and he felt some type of way. So it gave him the courage to step up. It gave him the courage to say, you know what, you're treating me this way. And my hat's off to him for telling her the way he feels, right? Be honest. I like, as a man, be honest, be vulnerable. Don't hold that inside, but understand when you tell somebody how you feel, they're going to explain to you why they did what they did. Not they're responsible for what they did. They're not responsible for your feelings. You're responsible for your own feelings because the way you receive it. And she was like, yeah, I did it because of X, Y, Z, because I needed the process. You needed to play the game. Let's go through the process. And there is no double standard here. The double standard is that he doesn't want her smiling up in anybody else's face. He wants her to just sit there and wait for him. It doesn't work this way. She wants to go through the process as well. She wants to date people. She wants to make sure that the person she's dating is really for her. She don't want to lock in to you. I mean, we've seen this. If she's watched any of the shows, she's seen that Vern locked in with Joel, and it didn't work out, right? Some people lock in early, and it don't work out. She wanted to make sure when she lock in is where it needs to be at. And then this is where my man got petty, right? LaRon petty for this, and I said, and the only other show that I'm on, LaRon is petty for this because he see Maya come in and he said, oh, this is my opportunity to flirt. This is my opportunity to get back. This is my opportunity to mess around. This is my opportunity to show her that I do have options, right? He talks about Maya's being greedy when they talk about she eating. He goes over there. He hops up out of his seat. The very thing that he could have did in his seat, he hops up and go laughing, giggly, ha-ha, all up in Koshia's face. She is right about that. He did all that in her face just to get back at her. It's like, okay, you want to see me laugh and smile? And he went petty, right? It's petty. And he knows it's petty. And he did it to, I don't want to say embarrass her, but he did it to try to prove a point. That guess what? You're not the only one that can play this game. I can play this game too, boo. Now, if that's somebody you're trying to impress, that's somebody you're trying to be with, in relationships, it's not tit for tat, right? In relationships, it's about you trying to figure out how we work together, how we can maneuver. That's immaturity, right? You're very immature for doing tit for tat, immature for moving in that reign. And then you not only immature, but you drew Maya in, and she has no clue what's going on. So now you put another innocent bystander, innocent party into the situation with him and Koshia. Maya has no clue. She walk into the room and just have a seat, and then becomes the issue. I'm glad that she removed herself. Whether we didn't see why she removed herself, but we did see just it was Koshia, LaRon, and my man Chaz at the table. Koshia was willing to sit. set some boundaries, right? She was setting and for LaRon, like, this is what's going on. Hey, we can have a conversation. Let's talk. Chaz intervened, said, "Yo, don't you see her being upset?" LaRon was just going in. The way he was talking to her was disrespectful. One thing I took by this was Koshia. She backed down. Like, this is not the Koshia we saw with Alexis and and the women's lounge, right? You saw her take a back seat, more of a I don't want to say the word submissive because that people look at that as being bad. She really, like, she didn't want to get involved with LeBron. Maybe because she knew he was alcohol that was involved. Maybe she, like, you know what, this is not what I want. This is not the way that we want to deal with this thing. I want to deal with it in a different manner at a different time. Well, LeBron didn't. He just kept going, right? And we see her tears. Was her tears manipulative? Probably so. Were they real tears? I think she was hurt by the fact that he treated her that way in front of people. She didn't respond to it the way that he wanted her to respond. And my brother was basically like, "Yo, she'll need me before I need you." He admitted, that she'll need me. She know where to find me if she needs something. He got up and walked off. Didn't finish the conversation. Chaz was trying to engage or mediate the conversation between the two. LaRon didn't want to hear nothing of it. Again, alcohol had a lot of play, right? Yeah, y'all can say what you want to say. It was a lot of alcohol involved in this conversation, this situation between Koshia and LaRon. Chaz tells LaRon he was, he was being dismissive and wasn't listening to how she was feeling. He dismissed everything that Koshia said. She was talking about, I need to hear you, is let it be the process. And he didn't want to hear none of that. All he wanted to hear at the time was, you know what, I want you, LaRon, and you're my man. He didn't want nothing else to do with anything else Koshia would say. So in other words, he was very dismissive to Koshia and didn't listen. Chaz says he's been there before, where he's been dismissive, right? Where he's done things that have been dismissive, that he should have listened more instead of being dismissive, trying to figure out what her feelings were, what her emotions are, what she was going through, what she needs from him. And that's where LaRon was wrong. LaRon finally admits, you know, that he was going to try, that he was wrong, but he went 10 toes down. Like, you know what? His ego was in the way, and he wasn't going to go the other direction. Bible talks about that a little bit. Too much pride goes before destruction. And his pride definitely got in the way and didn't allow him to do anything else. We didn't see him apologize. Again, when you let ego get in the way, ego will kill your relationship. Ego will kill anything that you're dealing with. And his ego and alcohol got in the way. So he's got this girl feeling upset and sad. But yet, when we get into the gentleman lounge, he's still fighting for her. Right? He's still fighting for her. We'll get there later. The men play, they get into a room in the house. They play a game called Truth and Sexy, right? Truth and Sexy. The game is brought up by Dominique. Dominique talks about the game of being played, Truth and Sexy. They talk, shoot. Maya had to go to do something to a person that she least likes, so she goes and twerk on Justin. And Justin was like, "Yo, if you least like me like that, you gonna twerk? I'm gonna make sure you do like." Can you imagine what happens when you do like me? Justin was like, "Yo, hey, let's try to work something out here." The one I really want to get to is the Jonathan one, where Jonathan had to pick the person that he's closest with or the strongest connection and whisper something in her ear. And he goes and he pulls Alexis to him. He picks her up and puts her on his lap. And you can see she's not having it. She's resisting it. She doesn't want to be a part of it. She don't want to deal with it. But he whispers something in the ear. Don't know what he whispered, but she's very uncomfortable. He didn't know how to read the room, right? She didn't want to be embarrassed. She didn't want to do anything that would be demeaning or put herself out there. And Jonathan, remember I said earlier she wanted to see the other side of Jonathan. Well, she got to see the other side of Jonathan here, what he could do and what he could be, how he wanted to make it. He said he wanted to make a statement. He wanted to make some noise. His statement, he said, "I want to make some noise." And he decided to grab her and put her on his lap. What I did like was that some of the men, Will and some of the other guys, did check on Alexis to make sure she was okay in the situation, right? You could tell that she was rattled. She didn't like it. She didn't want to deal with it. And you could tell she didn't know how to deal with it in front of everybody. This rattled her. It messed her up. And Jonathan should be ashamed of himself, right? If that's the type of noise you want to make, you don't do it at somebody else's expense. He could have did that very easy, went and whispered in her ear, didn't have to grab her and pull her on top of his genitals and all that other stuff. She don't want to feel you, right? She don't want to be there like that with you, not in front of all these people. Um, Now, mind you, Will had to lick her feet, or per se, his strong connection to. I don't know. There's a thing in this season with feet, right? Kissing feet, sucking toes, and all that. We've heard that a lot in this season. Each his own, right? Um, so Alexis has been the talk of a lot of men. Tommy excuses the women from the room and they get into deliberation. Tommy, after everybody checks on Alexis, he makes sure they good. The men start deliberating about who they like and who they don't like, who they want to get rid of. Uh, Everybody loves Alexis, right? Everybody's having a problem with Mika, right? And Koshia. Everybody's having a problem with Mika and Koshia. Mika feel like everybody feel like Mika was the homie, right? And they feel like they just can't deal with Koshia. Um, Will is the person that has to speak, and here it is. Koshia already knew Will was full of stuff, right? Feel like he was full of stuff, and she didn't even want to hear anything he had to say. He was talking about his fake chain around his neck. There's a lot of issue there, right? He tells Mika that she's one of the homies, and then Tommy, it is hard that what they have to do is hard to make this decision, and then Tommy gets down to the bottom line and say, "Hey, guess what? It's time to make a decision." And nobody goes home. We gotta wait till next week. Nobody goes home in this episode. I do feel in my heart of hearts that Koshia is the one that's gonna go home. In my mind, I feel like Koshia is the one that they're gonna get rid of. That Koshia is the one that's gonna everybody gonna wipe their hands of, and she's gonna be different. Now, LaRon was fighting for Koshia in this in this deliberation. Even after he disrespected her, even as he was just out there, he was still fighting for her. Another way that LeBron was drunk in here, you can hear him in the background saying, "Oh, get it." Oh, like the drunk uncle when things are going on. It is bad. Again, no one goes home in this episode. We watched the whole hour and nobody got eliminated. But we saw a lot of things, a lot of characteristics of people that we don't like. A lot of things, and we saw people that can do different things. Also, a couple matches that we saw. I like to see Alexis and Dominique continue what they have. We know Mika and Dominique is done, right? Jonathan and Mika, maybe, right? Maybe. Chaz and Vanessa, they're still gonna go strong. So there's several connections out there. We'll see how the connections get strengthened in the next couple of weeks. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, that's my review, my recap. Tell me what you think. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification. Make sure you stay tuned for other things that's going to take place and pop off here on the Jack and Glenn channel. Whenever you're watching this, to make sure you check out our Married at First Sight All-Star panel with Talisa Ray, August Love Story. Make sure you check out the Married at First Sight review with me, my wife Jackie, John, Jack, and Glenn. I like to say, if you watched all 28 minutes of this video and you're not subscribed, why not? Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification. Once again, appreciate y'all. Thank you very much. And have a great evening. Peace.